It's the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes post-match phone-in on X or Twitter or whatever it's called these days.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Well, is Yavi better than you? Well, Rob, let's face it, Rob Edwards has had a couple of goes at us at Kenilworth Road and come out triumphant. And today we got one of those back. We got one of those back, and a fine performance, and something that I think we've needed for an awful long time. Very, very, very pleasing indeed. Can't ask for more than that, really. So look, let's just get into what everybody wants to talk about, which I'm sure is that 3-0 result. I'm not going to go to Rich first because I'm going to go to Wendover. And the reason I'm going to go to Wendover is because he put in a forecast for this particular school, believe it or not, in our prediction table. And I did somewhat ridicule him, and we didn't quite get there. He was, I think, 3 goals out from memory, but we will see. But Greg, all I will say to get you running is 4-4-2, front foot football. And I think you predicted 6-0, which it wasn't quite, but you were in the right direction.
Mate, I had a feeling about today. I know if you did. After Coventry, I had a feeling that Javi is getting, in inverted commas, a team together. Not a group of individuals, a team. Yeah?
Yep.
And that was a fantastic, fantastic performance. First 2 goals, Javi Gracia stamped all over them. Javi Gracia goals, they were.
Yep.
Hitting them on the break. Javi Gracia goals. The third goal a little bit different because it was more of a more of a solo effort. Outstanding, mate. Outstanding. Full marks to Javi Gracia. I think some managers fit at some clubs, and I think he fits at Watford Football Club. 4-4-2, love it. I've been saying it for years on here. I love 2 strikers. I love, all people tell me about getting outnumbered in midfield and XG and overloads and all this newfangled bollocksy words that come out to. But football is still played on grass. The grass is still green. The ball's still the same size. The goals are still the same size. We didn't get outnumbered in midfield today. I thought Hector the Protector was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got things to do with the ball at his feet from a passing point of view.
Yeah.
But as a reader of the game and to protect that back line, I thought he was absolutely magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. I can't say anybody had a bad game. They're all 7s and above out of 10 today, with maybe the caveat of Patrice, who came on late, who didn't play very well. But apart from that, I thought they are all above 7 out of 10. I get carried away. I know I get carried away. But if you carry on like that, that is certainly, at the very least, a playoff team. I think Rich WFC, who will be coming on shortly, will love the second goal, because I thought that was a centre forwards goal. Ball in from
it was Ngakia.
Quadra.
No, it was Ngakia. Quadra was in front of him, and he basically used him.
And it
was Ngakia put it in.
Of course it was. But I thought, our man, what do we want to call him? K9. I think he took it. Really well, as a centre forward should take it. Mate. Look, I'm going to be quite brief because I'm lost for superlatives today. Absolutely lost for superlatives today. Pity Justin couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Justin, if you're listening, mate, get better soon. I sent you a message this morning. That is it's a dodgy old thing, your eyes. So you look after them, mate, and hope you get better soon. And I hope, Peter, you have a very long spaces tonight, because
I wonder what you're going to say.
People are really keen to come in and be critical when and Julie, and Julie so at times, but yeah.
Hey,
brilliant.
I wanted to bring you in because when we do the predictions league and the Patreons have gone into it this season, and various people have put in predictions, including Carl Wilson, who's done a great stint on putting forward Patreon scores. And this morning he came out and said, "I feel good today. The sun is shining, 2-0, and yes, we will have a clean sheet." Well, Carl was only one away. We were all asking Carl what he was smoking at that particular time, obviously. Well, it just goes to show. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. Today is a day to enjoy. Fundamentally, we've just got, it doesn't mean everything at the club is solved. We'll come on to more of those little things. But losing doesn't mean that everything is bad all the time. There is always shades of grey in all of this. But if you can't enjoy a 3-0 a victory against a former manager who a lot of people have got a lot of sympathy for because of the time when he was with us, he didn't really necessarily get a fair crack of the whip. But if you can't, look forward to the fact that, well, look what he's done with those guys up the road. Yes, 1 up and 2 down, always a pleasure. But we went in and we got a good win. So look, enjoy that and enjoy whatever you're going to do this evening. Final question before I let you go, and I have to let you go.
Yes,
now,
my friend.
I know the answer, but there will be people listening who will be saying, hang on. Last time we spoke to Greg, he was going from Coventry on the way home to Bristol, even though you don't live anywhere near Bristol, and you were going to go and have a steak. Now, how good was the steak, and do you recommend for all Bristolians, bearing in mind we're playing Bristol City, but at home next season, next Friday, I should say. How was it, and was it worth the drive?
Yes, my friend Colin was rather exaggerating. It wasn't quite Bristol, but yes, it was on the way to Bristol. I'd seen a review from a guy called Gary Eats, who reviews lots of restaurants and says this is top notch. It's only a glorified pub, but they rear their own steak on their own farm, their own beef. Oh my word! It's I've been to America many times and I had many nice steaks, but my word, this was the best steak I've ever eaten.
Look at that!
I went for something called the chef's platter, which was a piece of fillet and a piece of sirloin and various sauces and etc. Absolutely outstanding. If anybody's listening and they like steak and don't mind a bit of a drive, the Falcon Steakhouse, it's in the Cotswolds. It is absolutely superb.
I love the way he says Colin exaggerated. It's not in Bristol, it's in the Cotswolds. Oh, that place that's nowhere fucking near Coventry either. Never mind. Lovely stuff. So go and have a great night
Good
tonight.
night, mate. Good night.
3-0, everybody, and a winning steak. What can you do? Mr. Rich, WFC2, sir, how are you doing? Rich, are you there?
Pete.
Oh, good.
Good. Can you hear me?
I've got you loud and clear. Sorry, obviously, I had to go over and sort out what the Bristol Coventry stake situation was, plus his 6-0 prediction. He was 3 goals out. What can you do? But it was a day for enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Well, true story. Funny thing before I start,
Yep.
I've just had a week in the Cotswolds. So, I didn't see that steakhouse, but I had a week in the Cotswolds this week, which was nice and relaxing and set me up lovely for today. And
Lovely stuff.
If anybody wants to know or even gives a monkey's what I think, but actually wonders what makes me tick, well, if you watch the game today, that is what I want to see. It's as simple as that. It was just wonderful to watch. It was a team set up with forwards that run the channels and tried hard. We had wingers bombing down. We had midfielders passing the ball around, and we had defenders getting stuck in and the last-ditch tackle when it was needed. We've had 2 centre forwards today that have both scored a goal. We've had the wingers, whoever they were, Ngakia and Bar, crossed the balls into the box, and our centre forwards were there. Certainly for the first one, and the first one was Loser, and the second one was LK9.
Yep.
And then Duambai, wow, what a goal for the third one. And it was just great to watch. And it, as Greg said, it's absolutely classic centre forward play by Luca. And I'm so pleased for him because he does put in so much work and so much doesn't come off. And I've seen twice today, he got absolutely hammered off the ball by centre-halves. I mean, I'm not talking, you know, sly centre-half little tackles. I'm talking right bullied and nasty. And I don't care who you are, there's very few centre-forwards that could not withstand that. It was vicious, and we had ridiculous refereeing that didn't see it, and it's so annoying to watch, and I feel for him. So I was over the moon for him to see, and the way he took that goal, trust me, that is so hard. And he not just took it, he hit it into the ground enough to give the goalkeeper no chance.
Got his knee over
wonderful, wonderful goal. And then the other two, well, the other goal, wow, just, I mean, what a great time to score. As I said to Vidor, I said the next goal is always key in these games. We all like a cliche, and it was so crucial that we got it. And what a goal to get! And the hilariousness of Matt Taggart in front of us berating the rep linesman after hours after the truly wonderful goal, because I think they're trying to say that Luca run across the side of the goalkeeper. I don't care if he run all the way down the rookery and into the bloody old allotments. He wouldn't have saved that in a million years. I mean, absolute nonsense. I mean, Borough fans are absolutely clutching at straws if they're thinking they got anything out of that. Rob Edwards has to make 5 substitutions at the same time and still didn't have a clue what was going on. And when he took Aidan Hackney off, I just laughed with all of my belly. I mean, the slide is on, Borough fans, if you're listening, because that clown that's managing you, you know, he's got form for it. He does all right for the first couple of months, and then he loses the plot. And, you know, good luck to you. But I'm not worried about Borough anyway. I thought it was the most convincing, perfect performance. I loved every single thing about it. Javi, as Greg says, is probably right. He's just made for us. The adults are in the dressing room now. We've got proper people running the club. If he's allowed to continue to do it properly, we're going to go somewhere. Now, where that is, it don't really matter to me. As long as I go on a Saturday afternoon or a Friday night, Tuesday evening, whatever it may be, and see my team put in a performance like that against a team that was second in the league, whether we like it or not, they don't look a team second in the league. And I saw signs of it last week. So I was encouraged today. I think probably a bit like Greg and a few others.
I think we're just going through a dodgy patch there, Rich. Rich, I think we've got your point.
I felt it today. I sniffed it.
Oh, sorry, Rich, we've lost you there. But I think the suggestion that some were muting, and thank you, Simon, who just sent me a note through, which I was about to sort of mention. But thank you. It's great when people just kind of let everybody else know what's what. This is just like the hub of the wheel, and some people will hear things. Was that the suggestion was that it might have nicked off of Kieran after the shot? I didn't see it. It looked just like a fantastic curling shot, but it might have taken a touch. Frankly, it's the old Windsor Davis meme. If anybody remembers, it ain't half hot, mum. Is it? Oh dear, what a shame. Never mind. It counts. It counts. It's 3-0 there. They weren't getting anything back into it. And hey, enjoy the 3 goals, enjoy the 3 points, and we'll take it. One of the things that user ULM4 ME6RZ4B, I mean, let's be honest, that's a hell of a surname. Said loser will get all the plaudits, and deservedly so, but a massive shout out to Pollock, who was sublime. Great team effort. I think the whole of the back 4 was so determined to make sure they tried to get that bloody that clean sheet, including Selvik, who had a much steadier game. Still not really, he's still punching rather than taking, but you know, people from the continent occasionally do that. But you know, never mind. Sorry if anybody's lost us, because obviously it looks like various things are taking place. Let's see if we can't try that. Bear with me, if you will, people. That should hopefully have us connected. Andy Woodward, sir. Andy, if you want to hit your mic button and let us know if you can hear us. Andy, are you there, sir? No, it doesn't seem to be working. Sometimes Twitter does this to us. Let's try Paul Holly and see if Paul can hear us. Let's try and get to Paul Holly, see whether or not he can hear us. No, we're having some fun and games with the internet currently, it would appear. Oh, what a joy. And that's not working. Do bear with me, guys. Obviously, fantastic 3-0, but it's rather a pain in the arse when it doesn't want to play ball. Let's try again, see what we can get. We may need to start and stop it, or stop and start it even. That would probably be the order of things, wouldn't it? That'd be better. Let's try it again. Do bear with me, everybody. Just having to... Right, let's see if that has now reconnected everybody. That looks a little bit more hopeful. Let's see if we can get back talking to people. Sorry if I fell off the planet there. Everybody on YouTube has basically been watching me fight with a phone and lose. Let's see if Andy Woodward is there, first of all. Andy, you there, sir?
Hello, Peter.
Hello, mate. Hello, mate. It's a good day. It's 3-0. I'm having a fight with a phone and finally winning at the end, but it took a little while. Never mind.
You're doing well. You're doing well.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. I saw you will all know that, you know, Andy comes on and Andy and I basically go off wombling all over about Risborough and Watford and Concur and all sorts of things. How are you, sir? How are you and how are you taking 3-0 today?
I am doing very well, thank you very much. It's been about a month since I've managed to get to see a game. I've been out working, and my son even brought him and his younger brother on their own to the West Brom game. And
Good
he
choice.
said to me, Dad, I don't think you're the lucky mascot anymore. You better stay away because they're doing very well. And I said, well, what can I change? What can we do differently to make this day a happy day? And he said, well, last time I parked in the Gade car park at Watford, not the typical King's car park. I was like, do you know what? I'm happy to change one thing if this gives us a little bit of luck.
Good thinking.
And I'm taking the credit for that. Oh, even though it was my son Elliot who suggested it, I bought my car to that, and I think that's a little bit of luck.
Well, frankly, you can take credit for anything your son said, because if you hadn't had, you know, been his father, he wouldn't have been there. Ultimately, you're just responsible for it. This is a good point. There is another.
I do remind him of that most days.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should. Well, what's the point of having children if you can't emotionally and mentally scar them? The other one which we know about was people will know that Justin wasn't able to get to the game today. I think he watched it at home in the comfort of the Romanian hills in which he legally watches these games, and therefore him not being there is another. I want to know what did everybody else do differently, because what it is, we need it repeated. Andy is now he's now changed car parks, and he will continue to taunt his son. That's very good. Other than the Gade car park, do you think there was anything in perhaps the formation or the individual performances that was also pleasing?
Well, I have to say, like I said, I haven't seen the team perform in person for a while, but when we've on previous matches and we've had a really bad game and everyone comes on and starts slating them and slating the manager and slating the choices,
yep.
I personally feel that was probably the best team that we've ever seen on paper. That's what most people would have picked for that team today. And there's a lot of suggestion that, the Pozzos influenced the team.
Yep.
But I feel that, Harry has probably had enough to see the team now and has started to pick the team that we all say, these are the players what we want to see perform.
Yep.
Barr gets a decent amount of time. Loser picks himself. Even Selvik was on fire today.
Yep.
I mean, he made some absolutely brilliant saves. And you just can't fault the players for their effort. And I have to say, my old school style of football is bully these players to the ground and, shoulder to shoulder, don't give them any space. And it felt like they come out and they just all fought for themselves, for the team, pushing them around, giving a little bit of afters. You know, everyone was doing it all over the pitch. You could just see they were up and they were just up for it.
Absolutely. And having worked with Andy, I can tell everybody I mean, he'll do that just at the coffee machine, let alone during football. So that's perfectly real and understandable. Quick question, because you're absolutely right. There are certain players as well who have been moaned at. Now, a lot of comments have been made about, for example, in this particular case, imagine what happens when Sissoko isn't playing. However, that's a negative. And I don't want to look at a negative today. I want to ask you the question, but because for me, I thought he was standout. He was only on for half an hour, but Tom Ince came on and did everything I want from an experienced player coming on at in a good point of the scoreline and helping control the game. Did you pick up on him at all, or was there any other players that you thought really other standouts?
Oh, massively. I mean, look, Tom Ince is a seasoned championship player. We know how many teams he played for. We know, where his ancestry is and whether or not you like his dad or not. At the end of the day,
I don't.
He knows how to game manage, and he's been in enough games to know when to hold up the play, when to dive in and trick out a player, when to actually play the ball out and just calm the game down a bit. And you need that sort of calming player. And yeah, he may be getting a bit old, and as we all are, get a bit slower. But he was, helping Loser sort of like play that part in the middle. And I do have to mention, Kipriani as well. At the end of the day, he was the one I was like, where is he? Every time we looked around, I said, where is he? And he said, he's everywhere, but you don't know where he is because he's played such a decent sort of stealth play. He's creating the play without touching the ball. And then he just comes in and, puts in a really good tackle, or he just seems to be there in the backup play. So I don't think we give him enough credit for what he is. He's a solid lad. He's a big lad. Him and Pollock literally, would fall on their sword for that team at the moment. And it was just really, really good to see. And fantastic win. What more could you ask for?
Well, OJT Veto. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing everything because let's face it, we've had Rich on and he hasn't mispronounced anybody's name, so I'm having to pick up the slack on that sort of thing. He said all the Pollock haters are feeling shame today. I don't think we need to feel shame, but the thing that everybody came out after the Coventry game and said, we need somebody in there who is first and foremost thinking about defending. And today it felt like we had a back four and a goalkeeper behind them who decided, no, we want this clean sheet as much as anything, especially when the ball broke out. I think it was Tassene who'd come on and was in all the right ways, mischievous, making all sorts of runs, being really difficult, and the ball broke to him. And both Ngakia and Pollock were out there, making sure that there was a block on everything all the way through. It was, from a team last Saturday who couldn't shoot and couldn't defend, but other than that, we were marvellous. It's a shame that those two things are somewhat important in football games, obviously. Yeah. Today, they put that right from a mental point of view, didn't we?
Yeah, no, definitely. You certainly need your teeth in and not to have any drink if you start talking about pollocators, but we'll leave that for another day. The only other thing I was going to mention is, wasn't it nice to see that the referee appeared to be on our side for most of the game? I didn't see what the fuss was about Dumbia's goal at the end, and it looked like, I thought originally that someone had thrown something in from the crowd because the guy was holding the back of his head.
Oh, right.
Then there was a bit of argy over Bar, and did Bar cut across, but it was nowhere near. There was nothing affecting Dumbia's run, and what a shot! I mean, I love to see these shots from outside the box rather than these tap-ins sometimes, because that shows absolute class. And we saw 3 or 4 players having a go at that because of the confidence. So, for once, very rarely, the referee didn't seem to be giving them anything, which is actually quite nice to see.
I think it's nice to be able to say, you know what, the ref wasn't very good, and being on the winning side and going, you know what, if I was one, their guys, there were a few things where I thought, really? I think you pointed the wrong way after giving that free kick, but fine, we'll take it. So, I mean, yes, it's one of them, isn't it? It always is, but never mind. It's a great win today. Hopefully we can then go on and push on. Thank you very much, as always, Andy. There he goes, Woody. Let's get Paul Fiander-Turner in, then I'm going to come to Holly, who I was trying to, before the world exploded with my phone, per normal. Mr. Fiander-Turner, are you there, sir?
Evening, Peter. You all right?
Good evening. I'm all right. The phone seemed basically I've hit it with a hammer, and it seems to now actually be behaving finally, which is a good thing. There you go, sir. 3-0. Yes, rainy at the end, proper football weather, 4-4-2, 3 goals to Watford. It almost felt like the 80s, didn't it?
I'm not going to lie. I've had a few beers, so I'm going to do it in a slightly different perspective to usual.
Go on then.
So,
Go on then.
I'll keep my words very, very brief. Really enjoyed that today, and I thought it was the blood and thunder that you want to see in the Championship.
Yes.
The way you want to see a team go for it. Yeah, they made a few little mistakes, but the passing out from the back, they just didn't bother with that today. They got us on the front foot in the way it should be in the Championship. Get them defending what we're doing instead of the other way round, and it worked. And let's be honest, when Rob Edwards has to make 5 changes in 70-minute mark,
Yep.
it kind of makes you revisit the way that you I may have thought he was as a head coach, and revisit those rose tinted glasses we had in the good old days where we thought he was going to be our leader for years and years and years.
Yeah.
He didn't have an answer, did he? And Javi just absolutely outmatched him when it came to tactics today, and it was brilliant to watch.
I think he did, but I've got sympathy for the man going with the 5 subs, because if you're 3-0 down away from home and you're clearly basically not getting anything out of the game as it stands, and I appreciate I'm saying something nice about somebody who got Luton promoted, but don't forget I'm also saying something nice about somebody who got them relegated not once but twice. I want the sub. I want them to do something, roll the dice, even if it doesn't work, try something. And in fairness, he did. And it was one of those things where you all look around and go, have you ever seen 5 subs all at once? No, I've never seen 5 subs all at once. Oh, yeah. So, hey, and it didn't make a jot of difference. We won 3-0. Happy, happy day.
Absolutely. And it's something Peter said on our group chat earlier about Rob Edwards not being able to react to the other bench when they're kind of like in his face.
Yep.
That did actually happen today. So fair play to Peter for saying it, because it's true. Javi and the head coach, he was there, he was animated. The other coaches were up and like really going for it. And Edwards just didn't have an answer today. And that's nice to see on our side for a change, let's be honest.
Very true, very true. So are you carrying on with the beverages, or have you concluded it now you've come back from the football? Feels like it might be an evening to carry on.
I'm currently at Amersham Station trying to find the bus stop to get back to my house, and then I think my wife has told me to go to my local pub and basically piss off for the evening. So I'll be doing karaoke in the Checkers Tree if anyone's local, and it's going to be glorious and messy and probably quite humbling.
Fantastic. I think everybody wants to know this. What is going to be your karaoke song of choice?
Usually it's Oasis or a little bit of Richard Ashcroft, Lucky Man, but I think tonight I'm so drunk it'll probably be Black Sabbath, War Pigs or something stupid. So.
Oh dear. There we go. Well, let's let Paul go and get his go and make his way back in order for his wife to kick him out down the pub. Very good. War Pigs or Oasis. There's no segue at all in that to go to Mr. Paul Holly, who I tried earlier on and failed copiously. Paul, how are we doing? 3-0. That was rather nice, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Good evening, Pete. It was very pleasing. And to Greg's point about people that come on and moan, I put my hand up. I'm one of those, and obviously equally coming on and giving praise.
Quite right.
One caveat.
Yep.
Let's take that into Tuesday. Wouldn't it be lovely on Tuesday for a clean sheet, objective number 1, which means obviously then we don't lose, and actually to get an away win. Especially for the fans that go to every away game all over the country. So. Very, very pleasing today. Let's just carry that into Tuesday night. I really enjoyed the game. In the last few games, I try and sit behind the Watford dugout or get as close to it.
Yes.
And I'm always fascinated by what goes on. And definitely Javi is animated. He's driving the team on. He's constantly calling out tactics. In the first half, for example, he wasn't quite satisfied with some of the positioning that Bar was taking up when we didn't have the ball. So, he was constantly kind of nurturing him and coaching him to try and get in the right place to defend.
Yep.
But yeah, so I really like that. And my other observation would be we look far more organised in the warm-up. We look far more organised with the substitutes at half-time, rather than looking like the dog and duck. And I think that kind of creates the right tone, because if you're organised, if people are warming up professionally, it speaks volumes. And then, we were clinical today. Great cross from Bar, amazing finish by Loser, lovely side foot stroke into the goal. Excellent finish by K9 for the second goal. And then Doumbia, or is it Dumbia's goal? I've also read Watford Observer saying it took a nick. It took a nick, which means technically it's K9's goal. And then obviously you could have some sympathy, or maybe not, for the fact that it was miles offside and actually in the goalkeeper's vision. But anyway, some things go for you, some go against you. But yeah, I think one of the another observation from me, I still think we can get much better than that. So whilst everyone, and I know Greg's on like happy pills now because we've won 3-0.
Of course he is, absolutely.
But I think we can get better. I looked at that today and I thought Pollock was outstanding. The goalkeeper looked much calmer. Not so sure about some of the punching. I'd like to see him catching. Losers, obviously, absolute engine room and everywhere. I thought Doumbia absolutely gave 100%. Really works his socks off. I absolutely love that. I think to Rich's point, you just want to see a Watford team that absolutely give their all. And so there was some, everyone, as the point made earlier, was a 7. Probably those 3 players just stood out for me, just, on top of that. And so very, very encouraging. But I think we can get better. I think there's another 30% in there. And when we get that, then we'll start picking up results away from home. And then we become a serious challenger. So I think that's the point I want to make. Everyone's going to be very happy tonight. But I still think we can get even better, Pete.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I also think that with getting better, I mean, I always used to say from a coaching point of view was that the last thing that arrives is consistency, because you need to put in, not just a good performance in today, you need to put it in the next game and the next game. And of course, it's hard to kind of keep repeating it. Only people can have a look at Coventry and how they've dropped off, but they started to drop off after about 9 games. And then finally they got their kind of result against them yesterday. But they have been consistent because they played solidly. They found their shape. And now they're kind of needing to kind of almost reinvent again. Whereas we have had this constant iterative change of 4 and 5 players constantly. And a number of people have said, including Vince Smith says here, right team equals best performance. It's a kind of, you're getting the feeling, as some people have commented, that maybe Javi has sort of started to get to know his best 11. Now he's in, getting to know the shape. It's not the same 4-2-2-2 of a 4-4-4-2, if that makes sense, that he used to play. But he's gone, okay, I'm going to use this. The subs were much, much better for the fact that Sissoko, instead of going to Sissoko constantly, I think Tom Ince, who's a player for me who has been underutilized and underappreciated because we haven't got to see what he can do, stepped in and did the perfect cameo appearance that you want from a senior pro, a wise head, kind of just quieten it all down. There was a moment where it was probably in proximity to where you were. Loser went down and he just basically pushed from the wide left into the center and just waited for Loser to get up, and then he kind of just adjust. And he's got that experience. And sometimes with players, and you'll have seen it, I'm sure, is that an experienced player will see a problem and make the change themselves. They won't ask, they won't look, they won't be kind of half and half about it. They'll commit to it. And he committed to it, got it, and then just recorrected it. So he was just able to go in and almost fill in the gap, so to speak, where they were. But I agree. I think there's potentially somewhere to go. The first thing we've got to do is make sure that on Tuesday, regardless of the result, we put in, as you say, another good performance and see what he does. Do you think he would want to try to retain as many from today as possible. Bearing in mind, we've got Saturday, Tuesday, then Friday. It's going to feel like a week or 6 days where he's going to have to utilise the squad to its full length. Do you think?
Well, I'm a bit old school,
Ooh.
and I think if you're fit and you're good enough, you can play 3 games a week. The top players never need a rest, right?
Yep.
Ronaldo doesn't need a rest. Messi doesn't need a rest, and they're human beings. They're not, they're not superhuman.
Yep.
So I'm old school. You get some consistency by when you have good performances, those players stay in the team. We don't. I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or they're a bit tired. Or we need to rest them. I think he might have to make some changes depending on injury. Like Dumbia went down a bit at the end, and there was a couple there that looked like they were carrying knocks.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason why I would make a change. I would not make these drastic changes, because if you convince the players that they need a rest, they're going to suddenly think, oh yeah, no. You want the opposite attitude. I mean, mention you said earlier about felt like the 80s. Well, we used to have one sub, right? We had one sub in the 80s. And the same, in one of Graham Taylor's season, didn't we only use about 16 players or something?
And we also played Arsenal one day and then played them the following day, if you recall.
Exactly. I was at both those games. In those days, the players used to go and have a fag after the game or go and have a pint. Now they've got better diets and don't drink or not supposed to. So why can't they play 3 games? And what about if we were in Europe? Let's just say, magic if it ever happened again. You'd play your best team in midweek, wouldn't you? So I don't buy into this. I'm old school. Pick your strongest team. You put down a marker today. If all those players are fit, they start Tuesday.
Paul, I like this very much. But do you remember thinking, when you were younger, thinking, oh God, they keep banging on about the old days. You and I, we're now banging on about the old days. We're there. It's great, isn't it? I'm gonna go off and irritate people by pretending I'm deaf now. Paul, Holly, thank you very much indeed.
My final point.
Far away.
Again, a team that's going to challenge needs strength in depth.
Yep.
And obviously, there's a couple of players on the bench that we've all made comments about recently.
Yep.
But you think you've got Chaksabadze to come back in.
Yep.
Mendy 1, Mendy 2. You've got Dwuma. You've got a Bankwa. There's potentially a very strong squad here. And with that consistency, then I think we could challenge, but it is the away form, and bring on Tuesday night.
Love it. Paul, go and have a splendid Saturday night. Everybody go and have a splendid Saturday night. Saturday afternoon, by the way, I went to the fan zone, which has relocated. If you remember, it's been underneath the rookeries there. Now if you go to the top of Occupation Road, now obviously Yellow Brick Road, yes, but I've just explained. Paul and I are old and our memory is going. So, you can chart my degradation all the way through here. And it was up there and everything was good. Everything great fun. And Georgie Chakfatadze turned up and had photographs taken and all sorts of things. And it was all good fun. So all good, nothing bad. Let's get across to Johnny Hornet, who I imagine is probably heading Leeds bound on public transport. Johnny.
Hiya, Peter. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. Whereabouts are you?
I'm just at King's Cross waiting for my train back to Leeds.
There you
So
go.
there'll probably be a few Borough and Leeds fans on it. But I went to the Sheffield United game, and today was the exact opposite of that. That game was just a bit of a depressing day. It was a bit of a fever dream. It was just so bad. The highlight of that day for me was going to the Rutland Arms before it, and I just kind of wish I'd gone home after that. Whereas today, everything was positive. The team selection was positive. The crowd was positive. It was just everything kind of went right today. And fair play to Borough. I think they did create some good chances whereby they just sort of shot wide of the far post like 2 or 3 times. And a couple of those through balls had worked out for them. It could have been a slightly different game. So I thought, quite a fair play to them. I think we played really well. I really like the look of Ngakia today. Obviously, Loser was brilliant. Dumbia, fantastic. I kind of felt that was everything you kind of wanted from a match today. Is Rich WFC was sort of saying everything was positive, and we just need to go forward. And I don't have any problems with Kayembe coming on as a late sub. That was fine, but I'm just not sure we can have Sissoko in the team going forward from sort of what I've seen over the last few games. Unless he's coming on with like 2 minutes to go. But even then, I'm not from the West Brom game. I don't really like the look of that. I thought we did really well, and it was just great to see. And just the atmosphere at the Vic was just so nice. Everyone behind Gracia. It was just a perfect day, really. I mean, I suppose, but it would be better if we'd have got 4. But yeah, and as you say, I think Ince came on and just sort of took a bit of sting out of the game late on. There's a bit of a shame for Vata as well. I think Watford Analytics are saying he potentially got a knee injury, which is a bit worrying because I think he kind of worked his arse off today. So yeah.
I mean, typically with injuries, you'll have a period whereby they will do an initial assessment, and then they'll typically let the area kind of calm down and cool down a little bit. Hospitals, for example, often turn around and say we're not going to go and scan things straight away until structures have kind of come back into place. So we will wait and see. I mean, there were rumours that Barr was out for 5 weeks after last week, and of course his performance today would suggest he wasn't. So we'll wait and see. If it is a knee injury, it could be either way, and it would be such a shame because Rocco has really come into his own in this heavy team on that left side, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he just needed to score. Obviously those. I felt he probably should have put those chances against Cobb away, but he's doing the right things, getting in the right positions, and on another day, we probably could have drawn or won that Cobb game.
Very much so.
But I thought we did really well today. I just really enjoyed it, and it just makes the journey back to Leeds a little bit more enjoyable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we all know what it's like to lose an away game. Home games for you are exactly the same. Nice to see a clean sheet and 3 goals for Johnny there. I mean, absolutely. Ipswich, what do you think we do? I was just chatting to Paul Holly there, and he was going, "Nope, I'm old school. Stick with it." Are you a kind of a rotation man? Use the squad? Is there anybody you'd bring in? Obviously, injuries notwithstanding.
I'd probably stick with it as it is, to be honest, and just maybe see what happens with the Vata injury. I just don't want to. I just don't want to see Sissoko on that team sheet. But I feel maybe you might argue going like Portman Road. We could probably go a little bit more defensive, but I don't know. I kind of just think, is that a bit of a free hit? So do we just kind of go for it and just keep the momentum? If you kind of go, I just felt with Sheffield United, they were there for the taking actually, and that's a game. So this is just talking to my brother about it today. He's kind of saying, well, we went there and we just kind of we were far too defensive, and I feel like maybe we just need to kind of be a bit on the front foot and that against Ipswich. Just another point, I thought the ref. Your point about the ref today, it was a bit weird. Some of his decisions, he gave a foul when something happened when Ayling just kind of fell over for nothing, and then the same thing happened for them, and he didn't give anything. It's just some of and the weird incident when he kind of didn't really move out of the way, even though he had loads of time to. But overall, I don't think he was too bad. But and the other thing I thought was a little bit strange how they had Rob Edwards' evil brother
on the screen.
He's still on the screen. They did all the videos of the old highlights of Deeney and Brighton away and Vidya and stuff like that, and then at the end.
It's just
Fedolano just pops up, and me and my brother looks at each other like, "What's going on here?" Like a kind of.
I have described him as his evil twin. You've described him as his evil brother. Well done, sir. That's making me feel very, very good indeed. Yeah, we caught that and thought, what? Hey, who?
Yeah. It was a bit of a strange one, but that was overall a good day, Peter. But thanks for having me on, and I'll let you crack on and. And I hope Justin's feeling a bit better. Well, that obviously probably perked up a bit after that, but I hope he gets better soon. So.
Well, we've already said, that maybe what we need to do is kick Justin out, not allow him to come back to games because he wasn't there and we won. Was there any suspicion that you think you're going to have to now repeat, having done today that you haven't done previously, or vice versa?
No, not really. Like I was even thinking, like, do I put like I'm quite weird when it comes to superstitions. I'm like, oh, do I
Good.
put my jumper on because it's a bit cold? But will that affect the game? But no, I put my jumper on and we were fine. But I do know, people that have got a few little weird superstitions. Like my cousin used to like bury a car if he couldn't park in the same car parking space and stuff like that. And so yeah,
This is what we had with Andy earlier on. Andy is now having to park somewhere else, and it's just one of those things. But frankly, that's a sacrifice that you and we're quite happy for Andy to make, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, I think Andy just needs to get there early for the next few home games and just park in the same space, and hopefully that will get the job done for us.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Well, Woody, if you're listening, basically Johnny and I have discussed it. There's, you may vote against, but that's the way democracy works. You've got to get there early and start parking appropriately. Right, we're going to come to Caden last, but let's get across to the States and get to talk to Adam. Haven't spoken to Adam for a few weeks. So, Adam, sir, how are you? How are we doing?
Happy days today.
It was lovely. Now I know that in previous times when we've talked, you've gone to 5-a-side and then come back mid-game. Was it a 5-a-side, or did you manage to catch the whole thing?
What do you mean 5-a-side?
Didn't you used to go to 5-a-side? Oh, mind you, that might have been in Florida. I can't remember.
No, I play. I do play football. Actually, I'm actually playing tomorrow 8-a-side over 50s.
Nicely done.
It's very, very fun.
Well, there's a
except when the knees don't work very well.
Musa Sissoko is available, having been rested today, but we will see. Come on, then. What did you think about everything from there? That was it was like a warm cup of coffee on a cold day, wasn't it?
It was good old fashioned 4-4-2. When I saw that lineup, I thought that is the most splendid attacking lineup that we could have put out there.
Good use of the word "splendid" there. I find that pleasing. Yeah. It felt like harkening back to old days where if the ball goes wide, the crowd, kind of raise themselves up and go up because there's an opportunity to put the ball into the box. We didn't have, and I'm sure we'll look at this, from a statistical point, and I haven't looked at it on that basis today, but it just felt that when the ball was wide, we try and get the ball into the box. And Gakia, I mean, crikey, where has that cross been all of this time? He's having a heck of a season, is young Jeremy at right back.
Jeremy was fantastic today, as was Matty Pollock. He was outstanding, Matty Pollock. And just playing that's what he does. He's a brilliant tackler. He's in the right position. He heads everything away. Don't ask him to play it out with his feet in a back three on the left, because that's not what he can do.
Yeah,
but you can see what he can do in a 4-4-2. I mean, it's so much simpler. It was like, oh, this is quite refreshing, actually.
It was really nice to see, not only the fact that we had a attacking going forward, but one of the things that, and we always hear it from attacking players, and we've heard about it of Barr, and previously we've heard about it from Vata, and we heard about it, during Tom Cleverley's reign, was that he needs to work harder on his defensive positions. It's such a shame that he's got that, potentially got that knock today, because I thought out of possession, he's transformed. He's really, really good. And then when we get it, he's the Rocco Vata that still looks to kind of come out with the ball and do great things. Dumbia and Kieran Goo, as apparently we're now supposed to call him, I don't know. What do we think of that pairing? And also Semedo coming on as well. Exciting if we're playing two of them. They look a different.
They look like they were in sync with each other. I mean, Dumbia had a great game. Obviously, the goal was fantastic. Whether it came off, I didn't see that it came off Kieran Goo, whatever we want to pronounce him.
I don't know. We whatever it is, it's important that we pronounce it badly. It's something that we like to do.
He ran his socks off. I mean, K9 was also great. I mean, his goal, he took that brilliantly. I thought the cross and just kind of swooped it into the net. I mean, it was just good old fashioned wide play, centre forward in the right spot. I mean, couldn't ask for more. I'm just hoping, Rocco Vata is not hurt too badly, but we will see, I guess.
Well, fingers crossed, and then we'll wait to hear from everybody. Now, when we were there, I did hear Chak Fatadze was asked, "How are you? When are you back?" And he did say soon. We've seen him being out on the grass
Yes.
this week, with a football and everything. Now that was against, I don't know if anybody noticed, but it was in a very, very controlled environment. He was up against coaching staff. You note that from the colour of the training outfits. But it's certainly a progression. He was all smiles, and I think everybody was delighted to see him, turning up at the family zone or fan zone or whatever you want to call it, which has been a great success. So much so.
Where is that exactly?
Well,
is that the top of Yellow Brick Road?
I think it's where, and I don't know whether or not it'll be permanent. I mean, I'm sure we'll hear. But where the garage forecourt is. At the top opposite the Red Lion, there is a small one there for away fans to come down, which is good because they're not served beer in the away concourse, so it's good that there's an opportunity for guys to have a drink from the away end. The other side of that, so it's just down with the metal railings, they opened that up, and basically there's a big area in there, which is where the TV and media kind of park all of their broadcasting trucks, I believe, all the time. So I don't know whether or not, for example, if we've got a live televised game with Sky, for example, whether or not it might be used somewhere else. But in the meantime, we've got that now as well. It's a bit more open to the elements, and I'm sure they'll but for a first effort, I thought it was really good, and it was hopefully will be something that people will continue to get down and support, as well as the Red Lion, as well as the bunker. There's all of this great stuff that's going on, and it does remind me, and I'll just use this opportunity to mention it. If you're going to go to especially after tonight's game, to the Bristol City game, if you can get into the Rookery end, one of the things that the 1881 are doing, and some people have said, well, when's the next one they're going to be doing? Well, it's going to be this coming Friday. They want to do it's going to be a poppy kind of mosaic tifo where everybody holds it up. But at the moment, there isn't exactly enough tickets sold in the Rookery end to make it work. Now, we know that this for a period prior to COVID especially became part of our identity, that these kind of really amazing, innovative things from Roy and all of the guys at the 1881 and the bunker were doing. But if you are considering getting down there and want to be part of one of those things, do try and get down and be in the Rookery and see if we can't kind of fill it up. Obviously, if they use a banner, then it doesn't matter so much. But here is one to which your attendance is sort of vital. I don't know if you sit elsewhere, whether or not there'll be something else that, maybe be able to take temporary refuge there to get the tifo done and then return to your seat or something. Look out for that though. But if you are going, do see if you can get in the Vicarage Road end. So there we go. I think I may have lost Adam there. Hold on. Let us see. Oh, we're just having more connection issues. We will see. Let me see if I can get Caden in, and then he can let me know if we've got connection issues. Caden, can you hear me, sir?
Good evening, Peter. How are you?
Caden, I've never been more happy to hear from you, because I didn't know whether or not I was talking to the world or talking to myself. Some people would say, yeah, it's a pretty similar thing. Mate, come on. You and I have both had games where afterwards we've come on here and gone, oh my God, that was poor, wasn't it? This was the opposite. Mr. Grazia, how are you feeling about him? How are you feeling about things today? How are you feeling about things in general, sir?
Well, Javi Grazia
Yep.
is a fucking legend. He got today spot on. Absolutely spot on today. The tactics were brilliant. Classic 4-4-2. Love it. We've got strikers that work hard.
Yep.
Brilliant. We've got strikers that can score a goal. Brilliant. By the way, just little side note. Dumbia's goal was not credited to him. It's been credited to Kiramgard.
Okay.
I checked Sky Sports prior to this phone-in.
Okay. Now, feel a bit sorry for him, because it was a cracking strike, and from an area of the pitch that we expected him to kind of operate more in when he joined, because that's where he kind of plays for Marley on the left. No, sorry, on the right, cutting in, and it was a great strike. But hey, I'm sure Kieran Gould would be more than happy to take that. Go on, carry on, sir.
Now, it wouldn't be me if there wasn't something that I was a bit iffy about.
Right, okay, we come to Caden's corner, everybody. Caden, what is it that today you are a bit iffy about?
And there was one small thing, and didn't have much effect on the game. Kayembe again. Why? Why bring him on when you have people like Mama on the bench? Come on. give us more than KMB. But I don't understand that substitution. But you know, that's the only negative of today. My man of the match, Matty Pollock, fantastic once again. He hasn't had a bad game all season, I think. And people say, oh, he's deluded. He's deluded. Well, eat your words today. Eat your words today, because he was immense and he held that together. Apart from the first 10 minutes, I thought Kevin Caben was fantastic.
I agree with that.
And I also just want to pick up on one of the points from one of the previous callers about Selvik. Yeah, it was strange that every single thing he did was just mostly punching away. Where I thought, you know, collect it. But it actually works in a lot of situations because it just got us up the pitch. Yeah, and also Bar's back to his best. We have the old KB back. Good signs. Really good signs today. Brilliant atmosphere at the Vic. Brilliant to be a part of.
Nice.
And on we go to Bristol City. And as Pete said, if you're thinking of coming down to the game on Friday, please do book a ticket in the Rookery, and then let's do this fan mosaic and pay our respects.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. I think before I let you go and get back to Adam, because Adam's now. Sorry, Adam, my phone fucks everything up. First of all, well done, Kieran, for the words "fucking legend." I like that very much indeed. But I think I imagine he probably went with Kayembe because we're 3-0 up, and because the midfield probably just needed a little bit more defensive legs. Because if you score another 3 goals, then Wendover will be delighted, you'll be delighted, I'll be delighted, but we won't get any more points. Whereas what we want to make sure is we kind of stop anything happening in order to get that clean sheet. Because, and I'm not saying that KMB is the greatest defensive midfielder in the world, not at all, but he's certainly going to give you a bit more defensive solidity than, for example, bringing on Marma, even though it might have been a perfect game for to brought him on for, because I think the importance was managing that game to the clean sheet. Yes, the 3 points, but the clean sheet was, I think you saw how much they were working. You mentioned it, and I think you're absolutely right. After 10 minutes, Kevin calmed down and played really solidly for the rest of the time, or the majority of the time. And Pollock was immense. And I think Boller is getting better and better. He's either solid, but he's also getting forward and delivering balls into the box. And Gakia is having, so far, touch wood, the season of his life for us. So it's really good. But I think the importance from a psychological point of view of a clean sheet, because you can imagine what it's like when they're going in there. Even when we won, we still haven't kept a clean sheet. Today we did, against the team that was I don't know where they are now, but certainly in second place, and a team with some attacking intent. So I imagine that would be what he was going for. But that's all good. That's all good. Well, let's get back to Adam, who because the wonderful strange things that is Twitter. Adam, sir, are you there still?
Yeah, I'm back.
That's better. Sorry, mate. I don't know.
I didn't think I disappeared, actually. I was letting you talk because you were going on about the Bristol City, whatever it was.
I was going on. That is true. That is true. I'm sorry about that. Never mind. Well, it's we want to see some consistency now and sort of some build up. When Yavi was with us previously, we sort of knew the team shape once he'd sort of got it and in tow. Do you think he's the man to bring about a consistent level of performance from us, and maybe slowly now, maybe be looking up the league in a positive way?
I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, if we can play like this, obviously you're going to lose games, but if we can play with some form of consistency and formation, and yeah, I don't see any reason why we can't be playoff material, if not higher.
Yeah.
I'll put it out there. I'll say it.
Very good.
But so I've got to tell you, I'm flying in now. Thought I was flying into the UK on the 19th, but I'm flying in on the 20th, which the airline screwed up something.
Ooh.
So I'm going to have to come straight to the game almost.
Oh, blimey. Oh well. Look, we'll definitely want to hear all about the connections, because we had and I can't remember who it was. Somebody went off on holiday and he was basically sort of, you know, with the family, obviously, and they were trying to come back, and he was getting more and more kind of desperate as he was watching the kind of the delays click up on the flight as to whether or not he'd make it. And he went, you know, and we got back to Heathrow, and I just went, right, there you go. I'm putting you in an Uber home, and I'm going in an Uber to the ground straight away.
Yeah.
It's amazing how people will abandon the family in order to reconnect with their footballing family. And hey,
Well,
quite right too. Quite right.
I'm
too.
going to head to the bunker, so hopefully you'll be there.
We will make sure we are down there. Absolutely, absolutely. That would be great to see you. Excellent stuff, Adam, sir. Have a safe flight, and we will see you coming across. Oh, look at this! This is good and exciting. I like that. I like this very much. Let's first of all start with the YouTube comments. Thank you ever so much for everybody calling in. Melanie said, great result off the back of a promising performance last week. You warned. Yeah, we didn't win last week. You know, 3-1 against Coventry. There could have been a wailing of a gnashing of teeth, but a lot of people, including those people who, you know, you might say, oh, well, they're only on here, came on and went, there was, you know, there were signs, there was something there, and today we were absolutely rewarded. Mal, hello Mal, said brilliant performance, 3 cracking goals. Orca personal training 874 says round pegs in round holes. Who knew that would work? Nicely done. I like that. Mal's back again. Javi Grazia, he's better than you. Mark Scholes. Schofield says best performance for years. I think it felt like that. I think the only thing that's come close to that would have been the Luton 2-0, which I don't think the performance was better, but it was against a decent side. It was very, very pleasing. Milchman 3611 says blooming marvelous, like that. I like blooming almost as much as I like splendid. Eat your heart out, Uncle Ron, he adds. Well, Uncle, by the way, for anybody who's going to ask, was on to try to come on earlier. I didn't get to him in time, but he wasn't ducking it. He doesn't, in fairness, especially Uncle doesn't. He'll come on and go, I can tell you now what I think he would have said. I think he would have said, see, play 2 up front and see what happens. And don't play football where, you know, you play it around too much at the back, but go a little bit front-footed. Love it, says Nathan Harrison. Head first for once. Didn't see it back. Clean sheet. Happy Saturday. Absolutely, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mentioned this one earlier on from user UL4ME. Blah blah blah. Loser will get all the plaudits, deservedly so. Massive shout out to Pollock, who was sublime. Great effort. Josh Lewis says fair enough to Kevin. He was class today. Still hope Elaine can get minutes. I don't disagree with that. I looked at the fact that Kevin was in there and went, oh, I'm not sure. But in fairness, this is why it's after the event, you look at it and you think, well, Abby will have gone to him and said, no, I'm putting you in. I'm trusting you. And maybe that psychology, that's worth pounds, you know, later on as well. So he did it. Johnny Myers, hey Johnny, says best defense is a good offense. Also, I'm sorry for every negative thought I had about Pollock. Well, I kind of slightly disagree about that, you know, when we said when Caden just said about Pollock hasn't had a bad game. I think defensively Pollock hasn't had a bad game. I think with the ball at Sheffield United, where we decided that the best attacking outlet was to give, you know, Matty Pollock the ball 5 yards from his own goal, I think that was a flawed tactic, and I don't think we executed it very well. I'm glad to see the blood and thunder, the defending, the right kind of Pollock, really. If anybody who says I'm talking Pollocks, you're absolutely correct. What a great game, even if we gave them chances. Says OJT Veto. All the Pollock haters is difficult for me to say, are feeling shame today. He said Colin Smith Hornet says, I would like to say only one of my post boxes was incorrect. The other one was bang on. I will be having words with, don't worry. Anybody who's following the Prediction League will know that that Colin and indeed various postal workers in the Margate area are currently top of the league when it comes to predicting Watford performances. Far more, by the way, far more points than those people who could just go, oh, I don't think we're doing very well. I think I'll guess. Those people, by the way, I call Justin and Carl. Melanie back, shout out to Pete for bearing the load on the stream. Bearing the load on the stream. That sounds like a Kenny Rogers and and Dolly Parton song. I like that. Loading on the stream. Wasn't able to make it today, says Connor, but saw the highlights and thought we were really good, really strong. Let's hope it continues like that for now. Absolutely. Sam's back. Hey, Sam. He said, superb today. Loser is Rolls Royce. Dumbia was superb. K9 hardworking and committed. Pollock, a man mountain. Grazia got it right. And no Sissoko. Praise be. Yes, very much a come fly with me moment there. Praise be for the lack of Sissoko. Sam also says, also HK in midfield, covered every blade of grass. Hector the protector. He got quite annoyed with a couple of people and went running after him. And I thought, oh, keep your head. And he mainly did, but it was nice to see somebody with that enforcer mentality in the midfield. Collins back, he said, great result, great performance, great goals. A hat-trick of a performance. Okay, I like that. Matt, I don't think it was K9 being in the goalie sight. As he said, it was the deflection. So we talked about that. Thanks for that, Matt. Mate, thanks for letting us know. Colin said Kieran Gard was rubbing his head after the goal. I think that opinion will be divided whether or not it matters. If you're from Middlesbrough, you will quite rightly be having a wailing and a gnashing of teeth. If it happened to us, we would be doing that. As it is, I don't think it had any influence on the game particularly, but they will quite rightly argue that a 2-goal lead is a lot less, insurmountable, shall we say, than a 3-goal. But hey, them's the breaks. We know about it. Steve Woolley said, sing us a song. I'm not singing you a song. Imagine Watford playing 2 good halves. Watford can, says Veto. Milchman, what is he saying there? Commiserations to Hemel today in the cup. I saw that they were 1-1 with Wigan, but I didn't see how they'd done. But for 1-1 for long periods would have been a fantastic effort. And I hope all the guys who've travelled up to Wigan have going to have one, most importantly, a great day, and secondly, a good safe journey back. The fact that K9 headed it in does kind of affect Dumbia's run. Yes, it sort of does. OJT Veto says, imagine playing 2 good halves. Imagine scoring 3 goals. Imagine a clean sheet. Imagine using 2 strikers both scoring. Imagine scoring on 3 of 3 shots on goal. Imagine the best game of the season. 3 shots scored from 3 shots on goal was exactly what Coventry did to us last week. Isn't 7 days a long time in football? K9 got player of the match on FOTMob, says Melanie. Freddie 1 says, playoffs, here we come. It's just nice to go into games expecting to play well now. Ain't had that feeling for a few years. Steve Woolley says, Starboy just bagged away at Tottenham. I don't know what that means. What a lovely lad. Who was that? Who was playing Tottenham today? Was that a Chelsea playing Tottenham? I'm not sure. I haven't looked. I'm busy doing this. Bailey's on a weekend with the Watford first team in the early 80s. Oh, Melanie, well done. Getting on the nostalgia kick earlier on, thinking that today felt like the 80s. Bailey's. Was it not Paradise Lost by then? I don't know. Nightclubs of Watford. Kieran Gard says, Kieran Gard. Okay, all right. Well, we'll take that. I like that. Thank you very much indeed. We'll keep mispronouncing it. It's a long and proud tradition that we have here. Listen to us, SCA. I don't know what that means. In the word of Mike Bassett, 4-4-2, says Sam very much. So Kieran Gard, we're getting this all. Kieran Gard. I like this. Listen to us. Right, we're going to get OJT. We're going to get a voice message on from OJT so that we can make sure that we get the correct pronunciations of this, because we come on here and mispronounce everything regularly. Once we know what the right thing is, we will then know how to mispronounce it correctly. Excellent, good news. Brad 1181 says, was it a good game or did the score flatter us? I can't decide, but I'm happy either way. No, I enjoyed the performance. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the 3-1 at Coventry when we lost. I wasn't overbearing about the result because I could see that the performance was there. I think it was a good game today. It would have been interesting had the first goal gone the other way, because as important as a clean sheet is, getting the first goal has been vital as well. And today we did that. As they always say, goals change games, and hey, it changed in our favour. No, the scoreline didn't flatter us, said Mark. Well done getting involved on this straight away. We played really well in both halves. I thought we did, but I thought we played well against Coventry, other than not being able to defend or shoot, which, as I say, I appreciate is probably one of the more dumb things I've said. And let's be honest, that's a long and quite impressive list of dumb things I've said. Freddie says, just proves that with a manager who knows what he's doing, we're a team that will 100% be competitive this year. Nice to see us playing football. Very promising at the moment. Steve Willie says, Starboy equals Joao Pedro. Now, I love the lad. Thank you very much, Steve, for pointing out the fact that I most of the time don't know what on earth I'm talking about. Good. Right, let's get across. Bear with me whilst I just change runners and riders. Let's get into 5-word review, shall we? Look at this. It's going swimmingly. It's all going to go wrong. Natasha Wright says, stat, 442 days. 442 days since 3-0 at the Vic, and we played 4-4-2 today for the win. I know it's not 5 words, but an exceptional day. It's worth breaking the rules. Hey, trust me, nobody else respects our rules, Natasha. I don't see why you should start now. Best performance of the season, says FPL Lovey. Verwood Hornet says Matt Pollock was the nuts. Let's just call him Brian, shall we? Rather than Mike. Just saying a clean sheet is like making love to a beautiful woman. Picture of Swiss Tony, always pleasing. Fast show fans. No Sissoko for 90 minutes. Pet Solano ghost on the big screen, says, yeah, we were talking about that earlier on. WFC Chef says a Chateaubriand of a performance. Nice. Like this whole steak theme, which we started earlier on. Silgerman, that was fucking beautiful. We've basically had 2 themes. Basically, it's been steak and swearing profusely. And Silgerman, let's be honest, has come down on the swearing side. Quite pleased about that. Always good. Dave Lavender says a complete team performance. But I want to give a shout out to Matty Pollock. He was immense at the back with no nonsense defending. One of his best games for us. Now, Frank, it goes with his own theme always. It involves a pot noodle, and quite often, he says soggy wank and then pot noodle. Okay, that's fine. Whichever order you wish to do that in, as long as you don't bring the 2 together, because nobody wants that. Charlie Hancock says best performance of the season. Gareth Kingswood Hornet says 4-4-2. Who knew? He says, who knew? Right, before we carry on, I'm just going to try and get across to Danny, because he was in earlier on when everything was going a little bit tits up, to be quite frank. Let's see what we can hear from him. Danny, are you there? Are we trying to connect? Is it going to work? Probably not, but hey ho, let's give it a go anyway. Danny, are you there? If not, I will just go back to the 5 words. Nope, doesn't look like it's working, I'm afraid. Never mind. Right, I will go back into the 5-word reviews. Where were we? Best performance of the season. Yeah, Frankie 442. Who knew? Forget champagne. That's sangria football, says Dr. Dickie Sutton. Mike or Brian said Selvig, Pollock, Kevin, Loser, Doombia. Casper Campion says keep the lineup the same. Well, that was the question we had earlier on. And Paul Holly said I'm old school. Go with it. And then we started talking about the 80s and everybody started falling asleep, quite understandably. Keep the lineup the same, says Casper. Michael Froome, exciting, hard-working. Yavi, brilliant. Harry H.A. Clark says, Ron was right. 2 strikers. Yeah, no, Ron has said 2 strikers for as long as we've been doing this stuff. And as has Wendover, you know. Let's have a look. Spine, says John Parslow. Selvig, Pollock, Imran, Noah Sissoko, Hector, and Dumbia. And he spelt spined. With using the mnemonics of that. Very good. Not mnemonics, the initials even. Peter Elson says Ipswich away, Sissoko KMB in. Peter, we know what you're doing there, and it's very funny, but stop doing it. Simon Parkins says 442, clean sheet. He's not wrong. That's a very, very fine use of 5 words. In fact, a round of applause was due. Rob Edwards wanks off dog, says Chris. Now, we have no evidence that is the case. The dog has never, ever spoken about it, but hey, he's from Luton, so maybe no. Willie Eckerslike says, a clean sheet at last. Pete Joyless Jones says, finally winning without Sissoko. Played well the whole game, says we're all Hornet. Ryan Cripps says, Robbie, what's the score? Fazana Chowdhury says, 4-4-2 forever. Gaz says, now sort out the away form. That's definitely the next jump. That definitely is the next jump. Can we go and we're looking already under Yavi, somebody who can tap into the crowd, somebody who can tap into the feel good. If we can do something away from home, and yeah, it does get into that thing that we had with Tom for long periods, which was win at home and draw away. Until it wasn't. Obviously, get some wins away for all of you guys who are long-suffering travellers and followers of the Hornets. Would be nice to see some wins away. Let's have a look. M says solid team performance, bloody wonderful. Brian's back again, 2 up, wins games. Hampshire Hornet, he's better than you. Absolutely. 4-4-2-3-0 says Gaz, nice. And a bit of an insider's simples, very nice. Excellent performance. Selvig much better, says Lee Styles. As a to hold on here, please take Quizit. As to Quizit, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, but what the hell? Just says Yavi Grazia. He drinks sangria. You're absolutely right, Ace. Colin Hosier says clean sheet, great performance over 90 minutes. Loser Imperious, both strikers scored. Hackney, not 20 million. He says great to get one over, in my opinion. A good ex-manager. George says another week, another Mamadou masterclass. Eric comes back in and says best game of the season. Vince Smith, I mentioned earlier on, said right team equals best performance. This team could have had a different, kind of, how can I put it? That team could have seen a different result. The game could have gone the other way, or what have you. The important thing is it didn't. Now it's a question of building on it, as everybody said. Yavi has found his starting 11, says David Sweetyell. 999 says clean sheet and 3 goals. Jesse Hornet, what a fucking great performance. Again, let's go down this sweary route and examine it more, because I think many podcasts fail to explore the good sweary nature of football. We are not one of those. We shall do so all the time. 4-4-2, says Thomas, as if we needed a further assist to back it up. Robbie Edwards wanks off dog, says Jesse Hornet, confirming the suspicion from earlier on. I don't really like this. We are so back, says Thomas. We certainly are. Well, let's hope we are. Let's enjoy it nonetheless. Let's just quickly get to the 5 words, wherever those are. Look, there's, for anybody there's me and Carl talking the other day. There's me. Oh, there's not a good picture of me. Never mind. Let's get to the longer forms and see what we've got. Graham, let's have a look. Graham Sturman says, watch this in the middle of the Atlantic on way to the Caribbean. Just great football, great result. Absolutely. Well, I hope you are enjoying the your cruise, and I hope that obviously those who've suffered huge damage with on the back of the horrendous storms out there, I hope it all picks up and you also have a good time out there. Paul Fiander Turner says Hector in a 4-4-2 works so well as he drops into the back 4, giving space for Bolla or Ngakia to go forward. Love it. Watching Watford says 100% deflection. I was directly in line with the shot. Yeah, as I say, never mind, we'll get over it. Dr. Dickie Sutton, he of medical training, says the way we play today shows that what this squad can do. That's 4 wins on the spin at home. Now let's go to Portman Road and play more sangria football and reset the away form. I think that's absolutely integral in terms of doing that and trying to make sure. But it's also the question of, as Paul mentioned earlier on, that isn't the ceiling for this team. This team can get better. We can see how much better they have got just over the course of Yavi being there for a period, let alone, a feel-good factor within the camp. But actually, you can see there's a pattern of play. Dare I say, we hope that what we saw today is the start of an identity, something that we've always kind of spoken about, not a DNA, not anything, but just around this particular team and how they want to play. Would be very, very pleasing if that were the case. Very rare to get a goal that is offside and a possible handball, but fuck it, you on, says Paul Fiander Turner. Nice piece of swearing. He also includes a picture of himself, I would suggest half-trolleyed, with the phrase bus wanker attached. Nice. I hope you're enjoying we hope you're enjoying your karaoke already. Holly68, we heard from him earlier on, says 2 up front. Aha, I like it. Aha, aha. Oh, nice. I see what you've done. You've done a bit of Casey and the Sunshine Band there. Louis Teixeira, looking up. WFC Chef says, seems like we back in touch with our DNA with that setup and performance. A pleasantly retro 4-4-2 full of power, passion, pace and width, as 80s as Steak Diane and tiramisu, and nothing wrong with that. Look, WFC Chef knows of what he's talking about when it comes to both steak, indeed tiramisu, and most importantly, that warm, nostalgic glow of the 80s. It was nice. The Big Lebowski says, mate, we destroyed them. Yavi's work is evident now, closing down quickly and giving them very little space and then doing productive things on the break. In the first half, it's magnificent. This is a very significant day for us. I think this is the turning point. Yeah, Brett's always hopeful. Watford Limericks. Hold on, let's have it. We're doing this, people. We're going in, but I'm not going in dry, so bear with me. The return of Rob Edwards felt sweet. The Watford team dished out a treat. Our confidence grew under Yavi, part 2. 3 goals and a welcome clean sheet. Look at that. Look at that. No other podcast has such a concentrated use of limericks. I don't think it probably helps, but hey, you've got to have something as a USP. Dave Carpenter says, massive apologies for saying I didn't rate K9. Humble pie eaten. Well, that's what you should do with pies. Eat them. That's certainly what I do, clearly. Never mind. Thomas says, great result and hopefully the start of kicking this season on. We have great potential with players and with the guidance of Yavi, they will flourish. 442, Mr. Bassett will be proud. Don't bring us down by saying things like Mr. Bassett. Snowboy from Romania says, great result. A team playing without passengers. ASA Targu Morez lose in the autumnal sunshine 2-1. Still third in the League 2 in Romania, though, which I think, let's be honest, most people have been waiting to find out about that. It's gone down as Kieran Gard's goal, says Caden. Thank you for letting us know. Thank you for taking part in all of this nonsense. Let's try one more time. Let's just try one more time and see if we can get Danny on. It may be the spinning wheel of doom and it might not work, but hey, we're going to die trying, aren't we? Oh, it's a spinning wheel of doom. Doesn't look like it's working, I'm afraid, Danny. Danny is, I think he's on his way home, as I hope most of you now will be. So there we go. Well, look, tonight, it's a lovely day. It's a lovely day. I have unfinished business here, said Yavi. Today it felt like it. It really did. And let's hope we can pick up on it on Tuesday away at Ipswich. This will be going out obviously as a podcast and what have you. There will be some other stuff that is coming out. So we've got the Ipswich opposition view, which will be coming out very shortly. We recorded that prior to this, obviously. That will be coming out hopefully sometime tonight or tomorrow morning. There's a fantastic Untenable where Carl takes on social media and championship expert Benjamin Bloom of also an Ipswich fan, and we have a good time basically talking nonsense. So do look out for that. We'll be back obviously for the Ipswich game in the evening for a quick Spaces post-match phoning, call it what you will, and then of course we're going to be looking towards getting back to the ground on Friday night. If you didn't hear it, if you're planning on going and you haven't got your ticket, if you can get it in the Rookery end, then there is an opportunity to basically kind of once again have one of these kind of mosaic tifos, which is going to be celebrating the Remembrance Day. So it'll be Poppy-esque and everything else, and we know how good these things are. We know how hard the guys down at the 1881 have to work to try to put these on. So if there's a chance to get the Rookery packed so that it works better, then please do be looking out on socials to see any further details about it, and we will see you in and around. In the meantime, 3-0, and Yavi, he's better than you. Come on, can't be bad, really, can it? So look, thank you very much indeed for your time. Have a lovely Saturday night, and we will see you all. You Orns.